Calvert Island is located on the central coast of British Columbia, and it is a really remote area, especially during the winter. Often you come back after a storm and you'll see flooding, or you'll see landslides, you'll see stream channels that change because the flows are so high. And you try to picture in your mind, well, what type of force was actually able to create this amount of change?
Water. It has the power to move mountains, one piece at a time. And all of those fragments get carried downstream, often ending up in the ocean.
You know, the nutrients that we're talking about that come off the landscape, most of them come off during big storms. What happens once it comes off the landscape and gets into the ocean, and how does it affect the food web?
The impacts can be local or even global in scale. One of the keys to finding answers to those questions lies in water flow. How much water comes trickling or rushing down these rivers? And as a result, how much stuff gets carried with it?
What we didn't have was any real measurements other than a couple weather stations to determine how much water was coming in and how much water was leaving. We knew it was a lot, but we couldn't quantify it. For us to measure water that's coming out of a watershed in real time, we have to be able to have instruments in there that will do that for us.
So a handful of researchers and engineers have come to Calvert Island to follow the water. They've wired a small corner of this remote landscape to track the flows of rivers. Water flow can be tricky to measure directly, and it's constantly changing over the course of a day, a month, a year.
There's always this, dream of a hydrologist that you can get those high flows and get them over an extensive area. So we started talking about applying a method called automatic salt dilution. So we use salt in solution, and we have it stored in a container on the shore, and then we release that through a valve into a mechanical dumper that fills up, and then we dump the salt in the creek. And while all this is happening, we have connectivity sensors downstream that turn on, and they measure the salt wave as it goes through.
The amount of salt added to the stream is equivalent to putting 1 sugar cube in 32 cups of coffee. By measuring how diluted the salt gets downstream, the researchers can figure out how much water is flowing through the river.
And at the end of the salt wave, they take that package of data, gets sent through the telemetry network, back to the servers at Hakai, to space, to the internet, and then we get it at home. And then from there, we actually calculate the discharge. You get the data as the storm is happening. It's like you're there, but you're inside your office and you're dry and warm. With all this extra data, we can actually describe the system way better than we could before.
Which means researchers can start tackling those big questions about how the nutrients that flow through a landscape might affect it.
So it's a pretty basic principle, but doing that automatically when no one's there, in the middle of winter, it has a lot of challenges. The middle of winter is a pretty harsh time up in this part of the world, and of course that's when all the rain falls as well. So it's the most important time to measure it. Being able to design a system that reliably allows that measurement to happen has proven a little bit of a challenge. You're out in the bush, so first you have to bring all the parts. You have to try and deal with the weather, the variable conditions of the weather, whatever they are. So it's often raining quite a bit. You're working with electronics that are really valuable, and you have a torrential rainstorm around you. So really the challenge for us is trying to get as much done in the shop previously as we can so that we can head in the woods with pre-built systems and a good plan.
So now there's a steady flow of information that runs from streams, through the clouds, and into a computer.
It's all connected in near real time in this place that's completely off the grid. No one is out there. There is no other sensors or other systems like this out there. So we're starting on this multi-year journey to understand what's happening.
It's exciting. It's nerdy exciting, but I love it. It's really cool having real-time data.
Yeah, keep that running.
You want to leave it on?
Sounded good.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Keep it running? What do you think this is? I think we're made out of power around here?